Welcome to the Edge of NFT podcast with your hosts, Jeff Kelly, Ethan Janney, and Josh Krieger. We aim to bring you not only the top 1% of what's going on with NFTs today, but what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts and the business side, but also the human element of how NFTs are changing the way we interact with the things that we love. This podcast is for the futurists and dreamers, the disruptors and creators, the fans and connectors, and the makers and doers that are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
Today's episode features Ada Jonuse, startup founder and women's empowerment agent. Ada is co-founder and CEO of the blockchain company Limpo, a gamified sports NFT ecosystem, including NFTs with IP rights of world-famous athletes and clubs. Limpo was recently acquired by Animoca Brands. After leaving European politics, Ada worked with high-tech startups in the US and later became an entrepreneur and startup advisor herself. Ada is also co-founder of Women At, a network for women professionals. Ada's aspiration is to work with great people on meaningful projects. Her inspiration comes from many sources, including meditation, science, and art. I could probably say we're also inspired by those things. Welcome, Ada. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so cool to connect with you through our friends at Animoca Brands. Yasu was one of our favorite episodes. Really fun to learn about what that whole team is doing, and I feel really fortunate to have you here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's dive right in. I know there's been some iteration that led you to this point with Limpo. How did the idea for Limpo come up, and how did it get you to where we are today?
Yeah, we're not the new team. So, like in blockchain terms, we started in 2017. Like around 4 years ago, in summer 2017, I started working on the first idea. So, like, although 4 years passed, but like in blockchain terms, in crypto space terms, it's like 10 years, because so much happened since then.
Definitely.
So the first idea that we had to Limpo had to do with sports and healthy lifestyle more. We launched in 2018, and we incentivize people to provide their health data and at the same time get healthier with tokens. So we did that for some time, and then it didn't go exactly as planned in terms of the business model. And also, I think that we're not quite there yet. The whole blockchain space really believes, and or at least I really believe that people should be rewarded for their data. But I think this is going a little bit slower than we expected. That the users would jump to decentralized applications, decentralized browsers, and so on, to actually take the ownership of their data. And then we were looking, okay, like what happens very often in the startup life, where can we pivot? What can we do with our knowledge, and with our expertise? What is the next step? And actually, we met Animoca Brands and Yad in 2018. They were also investors in our company, and then we spoke about this situation, and it turned out that Animoca was ready to acquire Limpo, and since then we turned to the we stayed with sports and athletes, but we turned to the NFT space. And what we're doing, we're also following the kind of the philosophy of Animoca Brands, and we look a lot into gaming. And we believe that gaming could be, or is going to be, or is already the industry that is going to be really affected by this emergence of the new technology. So this is how it all came about, and we're at our first stage now. So we have our NFT minting platform live, and various athletes who joined already, the sets that have been dropped, and our users getting the NFTs, selling on the secondary market. And now we're working on the second stage where we're creating our first game and working with various partners to enable our users to actually participate in play to earn games already right now.
Beautiful. But you're
Yeah.
working with the right leader in Animoca, to do gaming right. So it's very
And
exciting.
survived crypto winter, right? That's amazing. Yeah. Not a lot of companies can say that, frankly. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
So I wanted to follow up here. I know you're doing things to merge physical and digital world through the NFTs that Limpo produces. How exactly does that happen?
Yeah, so we believe that NFTs are more than only digital collectibles. So when we release our NFTs, we think about how they're going to be used in our ecosystem that we're building. And one of the first things that are going to happen is the holders of our NFTs will be able to stake them and to get token rewards for that. So the NFT is becoming like an asset that you can utilize further with the kind of DeFi elements added to them. And then the next step is also going to be star tokens, kind of social tokens of the athletes that we will release further on play to earn games. And right now we're running our Limpo auctions. And this is where we thought, well, it's kind of nice and cool to get a unique, one of a kind NFT. And we have auction of 6 cards so far, and the next are following. But in order to make it exceptional and more engaging, because we believe in this engagement of the big fan base of sports fans, we thought that we could add some extra benefits, some perks to those NFTs. So depending on the price for which the NFT was sold, the athletes are ready to meet the owner of the NFT, to call them, to interact, to do some social media shout outs, to send some signed memorabilia. And there are perks that go up to some kind of private poker event with a poker
Nice.
star, and going to a game to see the athlete. And some of these perks are valid for a number of years. So, and if you want to sell the NFT, then these rights to get these perks are going to be transferred for the other owner, for the new owner. And we believe this also increases the value of NFT. And we're excited to see how this works and what people appreciate, what they're excited about. And obviously, we want to address this audience.
It really sounds like as a means of comparison outside of the blockchain industry, like Cameo on steroids, with like true fan to athlete experiences in a lot of ways that aren't even possible right now without blockchain technology. How has it been to convey these ideas to the talent, to the athletes, and to their managers? And I'm really curious how they've responded to these possibilities. Like, were they like, "Whoa, stop! You're blowing my mind," or was it very easy for them to sort of ingest what's possible here?
It's part of the challenge. It's part of the challenge. So obviously, everyone has heard of NFTs by now. But still, how exactly this is gonna work, what the lifetime royalties are, how the contract is gonna look like, how the social token will look like, how, what are athletes comfortable with, because we're gonna host votes where the fans decide ultimately what they do, like in on certain questions. And then with the value, the value in crypto is changing. And that's the reality. And sometimes you sign a kind of a contract with a certain value in USD, of crypto, and you fix the price at that day, and then it can be more or less. So like kind of explaining all of these details is part of the part of the journey. So generally the space is very receptive, but then sometimes it comes, the devil is in the details. So it comes to smaller things that we kind of try to explain with other examples, try to show how other companies work, and convince that this is actually pretty amazing to have royalties, for example, on every sale of the NFT forever. So like and things like that, and how valuable the fan token will be, the stars token of that star, and so on. So we have really great people working on our team, and also for some other athletes, we negotiate on behalf of the Animoca brands so that these IP rights can be shared with various projects, and they have projects that are have been along for some time, and where it's a bit easier to explain
Is
what
there
we're going to do.
is there a particular athlete or two that's become a BFF where they're just super pumped about what you're doing with the ecosystem and what you're creating that you could sort of speak to?
Josh may be asking how many steps away are you from Tom Brady? I'm not sure, but that usually comes up in an episode.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I gotta. I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm not gonna tell it though on which athlete based on Ada's background, but we'll let her answer that.
Okay. Look, so yeah. I don't know. It depends. Like I come from Lithuania. We have a strong background in basketball. So I spent my childhood watching NBA games at nighttime, because it was night in Lithuania, because it was such a big thing, and everyone was talking about that in school. So obviously, well, like when I was watching The Last Dance, this was so amazing to see all the history unfolding. So I'm excited about the basketball players. But what we saw, for example, we have worked with a number of MMA fighters, and also some woman power. So the latest auction of Rose Namajunas, an MMA fighter,
That's my prediction. That's it.
went really great, and she's herself and her managers are excited about what we're doing and about the space, and gets involved a lot. So this is really cool when we have people like that on board.
Yeah, Rose is a badass. Man, I just have a feeling that her opponents are like literally crying the night before each of their fights with her. She's she's a tornado. So tell us a little bit more about the actual star tokens and what they are, and how users can engage with them. We are those related to the perks that you were talking about that can be staked for? Like, can you go into that in a little bit more detail for us?
Yeah, sure. It's a new project, so we haven't released any star tokens yet, but it will work as a kind of a token of a personal athlete, and the holders of that token can do various things. So they can vote on certain decisions, and voting is also gonna work like staking a token. So if a user is voting, they will get part of the reward pool that is associated with that vote, and also even more tokens if they guess what the outcome is going to be. Like we want to involve the community. We want them to talk about the votes, to get the feeling, uh, to build a reputation. What we often see in DAO organizations, that like, so many people are following someone who has built a reputation over time, and just following their decisions, their knowledge, their expertise. So we want to do that, and then there are going to be various polls, lotteries, questionnaires where the same owning the token, you can enter those and qualify to get some prizes. And especially for the star tokens, we have really amazing prizes that really include this direct interaction with the star, because this is what this is all about. We want to make sure that kind of fans have an influence on the stars, and we believe that ultimately many stars and brands are going to be interacting with their fan base in this way. I think that everything is going to that direction. We'll see whether that's on blockchain or not, but obviously it's a super cool technology for that, to verify the votes, to kind of have a decentralized organization.
And
And I think, yeah, I think we're gonna launch the first star tokens in the upcoming 1 to 2 months.
that's exciting. And is there a consideration to sort of egalitarianism in terms of folks that maybe don't have as much disposable income to stake or on their favorite stars, being able to participate? How have you sort of tried to balance that with sort of also recognizing super fans that are willing to sort of put their life savings into meeting, for example, Tom Brady or someone like that? So what's been your thinking on that balancing act?
Yeah, so we were
Life
thinking about.
savings. Wow, Josh. That's quite a statement. All right.
Okay, we know who's our audience.
He's
From
got a
percent.
hunger, man.
So when designing the voting mechanisms, we were thinking about kind of the maximum amount of tokens that you can stake to vote, and it's more about the number of people who can participate in the vote. That's also going to be limited to have some gamification elements there, but basically, even holding a smaller amount of tokens, uh, you will be able to cast your vote and to be heard. We don't want someone holding a lot of tokens to actually always decide on the outcome, because this is kind of boring for everyone. Yeah, and of course we will see. I mean, we, like everything in the blockchain space, it's quite often you do things for the first time, right? That's the interesting part of it, and then we're ready to adapt to see how the audience reacts, what happens, what our user base likes. So we did, I don't know, we did the polls on the NFT designs. We asked what designs people liked most, and we want to slowly transition to more and more DAO elements in the whole NFT ecosystem that we're building. We are opening applications for athletes, so athletes will be able to apply themselves to be on Limpo, and then we want to let the community vote what they want to, whom they want to see next. Maybe in the future, even crowdfund for some IP rights that they're super excited about, and then have also community designers to design the NFTs. So we're kind of going to be slowly transitioning to that, because we think that the biggest power is the power of the community.
Totally. I think what's so interesting about what you've shared with us is just the elements of traditional lean startup philosophy that have sort of been accelerated by blockchain technology and what's going on in the NFT space. I mean, Jeff and I were doing lean startup events together a decade ago. And
Okay.
you might iterate on your company in a meaningful way every few months, and that's really aggressive, right? But with the way technology is advanced and the ability to engage your community, you can make some micro decisions by the hour that sort of send you on the right trajectory with this concept. And in having the sort of solution at the end of the road isn't so important anymore as it is having that ongoing dialogue with your community and being as responsive as possible. So it's really cool how you're going about sort of not gripping the wheel too tightly here.
Yeah, and I mean, I must admit, it has both it has both nice moments and difficulties because normally when you just create a product, you're there sitting with your team, and okay, if you have delays, you just go to the board, you say, what happens. No one is you don't have like 10,000 people watching you in the progress. And in crypto, it's so relate, like you have to deliver uh, on the promise, but sometimes maybe you actually have to test more or do something else. So there has been, I mean, I've felt a lot of pressure, uh, given the fact that there is a community around, and they're super curious and watching our every step, and ready to say what they're thinking. And at the same time, it's someone, these are the people who are supporting us, and who kept on believing. And like we have community members who've also been around since the beginning of 2018. So it's both. And obviously, if if the token is doing good, if things are running really smooth, then everyone is happy. And during the crypto winter, not too many people are happy. So there are a lot of emotions in that space.
Seasonal affective disorder, they call it.
We're gonna give you'll appreciate this, Ada, because of the background you share. We're gonna make sure that you hook up with Roman and get a Dino Monk, because when you're having these difficult days, you can go on their Discord and participate in a mental wellness session that is redeemable from your Dino Monk. So
that's perfect.
Let's hope Dino Monks don't hibernate during crypto winter or something. I saw some indications there was something special going on for Halloween with those.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, the community side of it's so important. I was actually at a talk this morning by this guy, Alex Sheen, who talks about, he actually runs a nonprofit called Because I Said I Would, which is really just all about keeping promises, and how important that is, and how we've kind of lost that a bit in the age of technology and things moving so quickly with overcommitment and things of that nature. But I wanted to ask, back on the topic of the greatest of all time drops and all these fun things you have going on. Have you looked like into like historical figures, the historical goats, and are you anything on the horizon from that context? Maybe past greats like the Muhammad Ali's of the world, or these types of characters.
We have looked at some sports legends, and we hope we'll be able to announce something soon. But like it's always, like I don't want to overpromise, and I don't want to name names right now. But definitely, there are names, that we've known forever, and they're still active in the space, and there's just this emotion that is attached to whatever, a famous football, basketball player, fighter. And I think it's NFT is also a great way to continue engaging with a fan base for these stars who are not even active in sports.
Well, it's funny that one of the things that we haven't seen as much of in this realm of kind of digital collectibles via NFTs is that nostalgic kind of throwback, that when you think of collectible cards or collectible figurines and things like that, it's really in most cases rooted in these historical kind of sports legends or other people of this ilk, not so much the latest stars that are coming and making an impact today. But NFTs, it's been the opposite. We've really started with the new stuff, whether it's new music or new moments with NBA Top Shots, like the latest and greatest. And I feel like we haven't seen a major impact of where fans, true kind of nostalgia really influences them. So I'm excited to see, maybe you guys will have a deep impact in that category.
Yeah, I think about Larry Bird, and how cool it would be to do something with him and the basketball world. And I ran into Chuck Liddell at an event, and I think what you're saying, Ada, is so true. Like the energy I felt towards this man that I'd seen knock out so many people and sort of really pave the way in the MMA fighting world, UFC in particular. It's totally a different experience, and if you can channel that for fans, that's very special what you're doing.
Yeah, we hope to do our best. Yeah, definitely.
So I want to take a minute and go back to some ongoing auctions and upcoming NFTs to be launched. What other launches are on the horizon for y'all?
Yeah, so actually, okay, so many things are happening at the same time. So we're running our auctions until September 20th, and every few days we announce a new athlete. They're running both on the Binance NFT marketplace and others on the OpenSea. So this is kind of an ongoing effort that is happening. And at the same time, we're working on new pools on our NFT minting platform. So we're really looking forward to launch an esports pool. We'll see how quick we can be on that, but that's definitely the audience that is excited both about gaming and crypto and collectibles and you know some people who kind of are natural fit for that. And this is going to be the first thing. And then we're working with various partners on joint NFTs. So that could be something that can actually already, we did a cooperation with another Animaka's company and game Rev Racing. So in this
We've
case,
heard of them.
yeah, in this case, our users were able to get the key to the car and then get the car and go and actually play. So this way we can deliver our promise to have NFTs and play to earn games earlier than our own games are around. And we're looking into doing more with Sandbox and a few more projects. So these are kind of the next things on our roadmap.
Now hold on.
You,
Did you actually race your Limpo car? That game was hard. Did you guys try that? It was super hard, but fun.
Yeah, I tried a few times, but I admit I have to get better.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we need
my
some extra hardware for that one. Like some of the gamers have the steering wheels and gas and brakes and everything set up right there. I feel like that had to have been a requirement to really kick ass at this game.
I think
Yeah, you need to be like there has to be some work invested in that. I know
Yes.
my co-founder Tadas, he started racing on I think F1 Delta last autumn, and in the end putting a team and and putting the players together and sharing the resources. So I think you kind of cooperation is the key also.
Yeah.
Good.
Commitment.
I just need someone to let me hit the brake while I'm working on the gas pedal, because I just kept going into walls.
we needed an Edge of NFT pit crew. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a car in that game as well, at the Edge of NFT race car. Ours was sort of pink and really cool, but I'm sure yours was awesome as well.
Yeah. Limpo cars were nice, and now we're gonna do some more with Rev also on some special cars and just adding some of the IP rights that we have to transferring to their game and to their fans as well.
That's awesome. So um excited about everything that you guys are doing, and we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Taking a step back and looking at sort of the NFT ecosystem as a whole, what excites you in terms of what's existing or hasn't yet been formed as game changers in the next wave of NFTs outside of your current project and sort of your current partners?
Yeah, I think that there is kind of general agreement that it's hard to price the NFTs, and various kind of tools to do that. There are also various, what I'm excited about, various ways to utilize the NFTs further, either owning a part of an NFT, wrapping for a certain period of time, putting NFTs, NFT as a loan and kind of ensuring stabilizing for part of the price. So like it's okay. We all get a lot of pictures where our ownership of that is registered on blockchain, and this is kind of a cool thing. But for me, the question is like, what's next? What can we do with this asset class that emerged and that is huge? And we saw NFTs, being sold for millions, and so many people in the space have tried this out and own NFTs, and like, how do we work with this as an asset, and what kind of DeFi elements maybe we can bring to that. So that's generally something that is for me very interesting to see, and there are like so many great concepts and people are trying out. I feel there's so much creativity now being put into that, and I hope that great products will come out of that.
Right on.
Yeah, us as well. Well, we appreciate you sharing so much about Limpo. For all our listeners, check it out. It's so cool. There's so many really fun elements here. And Rose Namajunas is she's still, I guess that ends today. So by the time you hear this, it will be over. But she's crossed that $15,000 threshold into the next level, I think, right? And I think there's just a couple hours left in that one. But I'm a huge fan of hers. So, well,